So I'd like to start with asking you how you're doing right now.
Yeah, I'm doing well. I feel what you were saying this morning is so totally accurate to my experience. So it's kind of like I feel glad to see if I can shift from blaming to being in life. So
Sort of looking forward to exploring this possibility.
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So I take it that you have an experience you wanted to focus on.
Yes.
Can you describe, this is stimulus, what you experience as a stimulus?
So the stimulus is my mum died, and after my mum died, my dad got together with one of her best friends, and he's done quite a few things which I consider bad. And I cannot help but to blame him. And every morning I wake up and I'm blaming him. And now it's been going for years. And I've done lots of things like work and stuff. And I feel a bit better. But then back in the morning that record comes on. He's done bad stuff. And when we were sitting there, I even thought, I want to tell Robert the bad things he's done and I want him to agree with me. So, yeah.
So even as I'm hearing you say, I mean, there's many layers I want to reflect, but just this last part. I want to tell Robert all the bad things my father has done, and I want him to agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, even on one level I know it's ridiculous because of what we're doing.
Yes, but I just want to stop.
Yeah.
There's another thing we said, then you evaluate that.
Yeah.
You say that's ridiculous, but let's just stay with the thinking that you just said.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I want to tell you the bad things he's done.
Yeah.
Shall I tell you one bad thing?
I do want to hear a concrete behavior that you're reacting to.
Yeah.
And I want you just to notice that when you said, I want to tell Robert all the bad things he's done and I want him to agree with me.
Yeah.
I just want you to observe, do you notice that this is a thought that you're having?
I noticed it's a thought, and when you reflected back to me, I could feel a bit of tears in my eyes.
Okay.
A kind of, yes, I do.
Yeah, so there's some pain that you're feeling in that. And I imagine that the behaviors that you've observed are stimulating something in you, important pain and other things. Yeah. Can you, just to link to it concretely, can you identify one behavior that you've observed that you then label as bad?
Yeah. He organized 2 family holidays and invited both of my siblings and their children, and twice didn't invite me.
Yeah, okay. As you recall that, just notice that is a fact. That's an event, all its own.
Yeah.
And then with your awareness on that event now, just what comes up in you? What do you feel and experience and think? Just immediately.
And what immediately, it's like a steam engine of, he shouldn't have.
Okay, just notice that.
And it connects to all the other.
Yeah, there's a number of other behaviors.
Yeah.
And not just this one standalone.
Yeah.
So so this process is around standing back.
Yeah.
Not distancing the experience, but allowing yourself to actually look at what you're experiencing. You should have. So say some of the words out loud.
You should have invited me. That's horrible. How can you do that?
Yeah.
I've been so kind to you. I just can't believe that you could do that, basically.
And so as you say that, I'm sensing there's feeling there.
Yeah.
That's there, but you should have invited me. I've been kind to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you see that this is an internal narrative that you have going on with yourself?
Yeah.
You're having a conversation with yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an important conversation because it points to something that you're feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't normally experience it as the internal conversation.
Yeah. But are you noticing now, as I frame it in that way, you're having a conversation with you about what your father did?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or didn't do.
Yeah.
What's going on in you? It's kind of, you felt this, I don't know if the word is, but roiling, just kind of moving around.
Yeah.
Do you feel that? And you're having a conversation with yourself about it.
Yes.
Just to observe that right now.
Yeah. When you say that, I can feel it inside of me, but just that's such a tendency just to want to go back out
I
to
understand. But even notice that tendency.
Yeah.
So this tendency is going on in you.
Yeah.
There's a conversation, and then there's this tendency.
Mm-hmm.
It's all yours.
Yeah.
It's all yours.
Yes.
What happened is what happened. And then you have your own internal experiencing about what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can feel, I can have a sense of that when you're speaking. It's some kind of calm.
Yeah. Okay. So we may go over these different layers again and again, but there's the narrative, the conversation you're having about it, this tendency to want to go back there, and this energy, but you're feeling something.
Yeah, it's.
What is that feeling? Are you angry?
I feel angry.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel
I feel angry. I feel hurt. I feel appalled.
You feel appalled. All of those are multidimensional. You feel angry. You feel hurt. You're appalled.
Yeah.
So the anger and the hurt and the appalled are all a mixture of feelings and more of your internal conversation.
Yeah.
You're angry. I'd like to hear more of the anger.
I mean, the anger is very repetitive. It's like a record. It's like, I cannot believe it. I just can't believe that you would do something like that.
Okay. So now it's like a record. You recognize that, and yet it's still a sense that you're caught in it energetically.
It's literally, I put it on every morning.
Yeah, okay. So let's just say you put it on every morning.
Yeah.
It's a record.
Yeah.
And this is your internal record you're playing to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I wouldn't use the word entertaining, but it's kind of like you're entertaining yourself.
Yeah, I can
you
get
put it
that,
on,
yeah.
and it does something for you.
It's entertaining, but it's also like banging your head against the wall.
Yes, yeah. There's compulsion to go back to this and play this. It's a record.
Yeah.
It's your record. It's yours.
Yeah, yeah. And it's quite salutary when you say that. It's my record. Yeah.
Say that again. It's quite what?
Salutary, kind of like.
Oh yes.
Sobering.
Sobering.
Yeah.
And say more about that sobering, salutary thing.
Like kind of sobering, like imagining myself getting up every morning and putting the same record on that I don't like.
You don't like, and yet you do it.
Yeah.
No one's making you do it.
No. No.
There's something in you that is not consciously choosing, but you're choosing.
Yeah.
Your choice.
Yeah. I think it's the hurt.
It's the hurt.
It's the hurt.
Do you feel that now? Do you feel the hurt?
Yeah, I can feel, I can kind of feel underneath it.
Yeah. So there's hurt there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine you so long to feel the care, the recognition, the love. You so want that, and you miss it.
Yeah, and I think what comes to mind is that my mum would never have done that.
Yeah.
You know, my mum would never have done that. Yeah. So that missing
that
when you say
missing,
that,
you miss it. And reminded you of a person that offered you this love and care, that it was present there but not present here. It's kind of a recognition. But doesn't it point to how precious how dear this is to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
A sense of you, you're feeling something in you right now. You feel the sadness, the pain. Or share with me, what is there?
I think when you said you miss it, that was what that really, I miss something.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the pain.
Yeah.
You miss it.
I miss just somebody who wants you to be there all the time.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah, my mum would want me to be there all the time.
Sense just that. Your mom would want you to be there all the time. You feel the love in that wanting. You so miss it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a big thing when just somebody literally wants you to be there all the time.
Yeah.
You know, begs you to go even though she knows you're not going to go. But.
And that reality, that experience with your mom, is a presence of a certain kind of love that's there always. It's there always. And isn't the sadness and the pain, the missing it, is that, it's not here with your father in these situations.
Yeah.
And your heart feels the missing.
Yeah.
This is your heart.
Yeah, when you said it's there always, I could feel something releasing, kind of, it's there always.
Isn't that the longing? To feel that it's there always?
Yeah.
To know that it's there always?
Yeah.
To have it demonstrated that it's always there?
Yeah, just I think the feeling of that, if I felt that love always there. When you say to have it demonstrated, and I get slightly
well, that's the difference between wanting it to be in the actuality of life and the outcome, so to speak, and your longing for it. It is precious in you as something that you care about, something that you're wanting. It's a value, it's there.
Yeah.
And when you experience the absence of it in life with your father, your heart shows you how important that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your pain points to how precious this is.
Yes. And right now I feel more relaxed and at ease.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how those incidents with my dad can just so kind of trap me into that.
Yeah. So I'm hearing a contrast, a sense of right now, at ease, and then there's something in you that wants to remind you of how you go back, how you have gone back to that blaming energy.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that in that blaming energy, perhaps there is another longing? Are you longing for a particular kind of sensitive awareness for what matters to you?
I mean, yeah.
Isn't that what's behind you're appalled? How could you not be aware of me, of what matters to me?
Yeah. Yeah. And when you say that, I can kind of feel some kind of energy going through my body.
Yeah.
Because
And then this sensitivity for this energy, this is your life right now. These are the waves of feeling energy going through you.
And it is something I really value, being aware of how other people, being aware of other people is something I really is important to me, so...
And you would like other people to be aware and sensitive to you, to carry that care.
I would, and when you say that though, but it just goes to, well, my dad just can't do that.
Okay, just notice that.
Yeah.
Never thought. Now, this is still part of your own internal conversation. And you say to yourself,
yeah,
but my dad just can't do that.
Yeah.
Now, whether he can or not is part of the reality of what is.
Yeah.
But you're noticing you have a thought about his ability or inability to do it.
Yes, I appreciate you reminding me about the conversation, because it was again, it was...
Because then it goes into that somehow that this is what is so.
Yeah.
This is reality.
Yeah.
And in fact, this is your conversation about what could be so.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's good to be reminded, because it puts me back in myself.
Yeah.
And the other way, it's like, no,
exactly.
That's actually the truth.
Yeah, and then when you go, now that's actually a truth, there's a particular energy and felt quality that you experience.
Mm-hmm. Which is a tightening, you know.
And then the difference between that, oh, this is all part of, you're trying to work this out with yourself, this conversation with yourself.
And that feels more like a sphere of like almost a warm, like this is my territory kind of thing.
This is your territory. Even as you say that, you have a different experience or feel.
Yeah.
And this is yours. This is yours as an experience.
Mm.
We can give it a label. I can say, this is yours, meaning you own this as yours.
Mm. It reminds me like of a baby in a pen, and throw the toys out and like, no, that's your toy, take it back again. So it's like, okay, this is my toy to play with for a bit longer.
Yeah.
So yeah. Mm.
In the sense of this conversation you have with yourself, the thoughts you have about your dad, is not a standalone reality. And again, it tells you what is dear to you.
Yeah.
So do you have a sense that this is dear to me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and it just literally feels like I'm in this sphere now, and I can experience that as this is dear for this is saying this is something dear to me that I can feel inside. Yeah. Whereas the other way, it was just very, very caught in a like a loop. Yeah. Hmm.
My sense is that in what you've shared with me, there's that you experience some clear differentiation between this way of operating with the blame energy and what captures your energy over and over again, and then a kind of, okay, let's really be with, observing, just really looking at clearly. This is your inner process.
Yeah.
It's connected to an outer event. You're not pushing it away. Mm. It's there. Those behaviors are there. There may be other similar behaviors in the future. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, and when I remember now this thing about my dad saying about the cruise, I can remember it. It really doesn't have the. It doesn't draw me into the normal way. Yeah. The only thing is, I'm like, how am I going to do this when you're not sitting there? Yeah. You know, and now I feel in this kind of like a nice place. Yeah. But that's a fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fear, I understand. I think the fear is, I'm guessing that you've spent so much time and energy over the last few years with this. It's captured so much of your life energy. Yeah. And not been pleasant. Yeah. And the fear is, aren't you wanting to, given what you experience now, you're wanting to sustain this because it feels more authentic, more alive, more empowered.
Yeah, and it just feels more relaxed and more enjoyable. Oh, I'm having this conversation with myself, you know, so, yeah. I feel more relieved. And it's just so painful being in the trap. It's like a mouse in a thing.
It's like a dog with a bone.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and there's no conscious choice to liberate yourself from it, because there isn't, whatever that is.
And I kind of done stuff to try, but
Yeah.
it's still the magnetic attraction.
Yeah.
Has won, but I would prefer this to win.
Yeah. And so, are you wanting to trust within yourself? You're wanting to have a sense of a way you can continue this, cultivate it, grow this particular kind of awareness with yourself in relation to your father.
Yeah. Yeah, and even when you're speaking, I can feel energy inside, kind of more strong.
Is there, clearly, as in most of these kinds of explorations, there's a delving into a co-exploring this with you, and we could stay here, continue to deepen it.
Yeah.
I think let's just name this as a cycle.
Yeah.
And I have a sense of completion for this part of the cycle. Are you okay with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Feel good with the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is there something that where you are now that is prominent, is something you can remember or take, an experiential anchor you can take with you for moving forward?
I just think that the sense of just having much more like a circle of spaciousness around me. And almost literally that image of the playpen of like, these are my toys. And, you know, so these are my toys to kind of.
And I think it's important to identify that whatever occurs to you, each individual may have their own imagery, their own link or anchor, and it's useful.
Yeah.
These are my toys. This is my story I'm telling myself.
Yeah, my records I'm putting on.
My record I'm putting on. Let's put that record on again. I haven't put it on for a little while. Let's see what that's like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. All right. In response to observing the process with me and Jill, I'd like to invite any responses. Sharing, questions?
I really resonated with the record player, that's a good reminder of when it's a story and it's not a truth, when it's repeated.
Yeah.
And I'm not settling into my body.
Yeah. Great, I'm glad that's useful. I imagine that each person will have their own way of connecting, linking to an image perhaps, or an experience in order to enable this felt clarity. It's a felt clarity. And once you get it, once you experience this over and over again, it's like, wow, how could I have ever thought that my thoughts are true? Anyway, thank you. Okay.
There's just something about maybe not being in the undefended space, like the fear of being there, and how that can, I think, be pretty overwhelming. Like, and kind of like my mind can't understand how I could be safe in that place, and yet the connection to it's that it has a spaciousness that isn't like a force of pushing away, but I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Just, something quite amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you say it's amazing, do you mean amazing how strong that force is of pushing away the vulnerability?
Well, in a way, like how safe that place is of being undefended. But
how safe, when you're in it, how safe it is. When you're not in it, how safe it seems like it is.
When I'm not in it, how unsafe it seems.
Well, you're still in it if you think it's unsafe. Anyway, that's to be experienced.
Okay.
So, but I want to say one added thing is that if you are feeling fear because you're sensing some experience that is vulnerable, then that is something to own. It's not something to push through or that you should be. This is, I am feeling fear. This is in me. I'm feeling fear because my fear is telling me that it's unsafe. So again, this is an internal conversation you're having with yourself, perhaps with different parts of yourself. There's a part of me that's scared. There's a part of me that says, if I feel this, something will happen. I won't be able to handle the pain. It'll be too much. I'll lose myself in the pain. But that is your thought generated from the fear. Yeah. Can you see how whatever comes up is the material to be with in as much owning and feeling as possible. Okay, thank you. Nancy?
Thank you for that. That was quite moving for me to observe. And what was helpful was that in the uncovering of the story or the record or the dialogue, the narrative, I think you called it, that the real pain was actually somewhere else, that the loss of her mother was connected to perceptions about her dad, I thought. So it was just, the story stops you, the narrative stops you from going to the place that needs to be got to get the healing to move on, really, or to change our relationship with it, or unhook it from other things so that there's a bit more clarity at least. That was just so so clear for me, so thank you.
I'm glad that was clear. And the value of it, I believe, for each person is that each person in their own way can experience the actual experience of when I am in the narrative, that stops me, it prevents me from feeling something that is undefended. Feeling something that is my heart. Perhaps the undefended grief of what I long for that was not present in the experience. Yeah, that's realization. Yes. Anakin?
So, I seem to have a pile of records.
Yeah.
And
A whole collection.
yeah.
Right.
And they are quite active at night, actually.
Say that again?
They are active at night. I put them on at night.
Oh, okay.
When I'm struggling to sleep.
Yeah.
I haven't had any complaints from the neighbors yet, but my inner neighbor is complaining. But I had this when I heard you guiding Jill towards what is really her longing. I had a glimpse of what I'm longing after, what I'm longing for.
Yeah.
So I really take that back, in particular in my night shows.
Yeah. Beautiful. I'm glad that you're sensing that somehow, as I'm hearing you say, is maybe the most important element of this. The recognition of ownership creates a condition in which one can experience, feel the heart of the longing.
And it was just a moment of insight. I was just relaxing.
Yeah.
And you say we're going to do these processes right now.
Yes.
And I will be maybe supporting someone similar to what you did. And then there comes another story. Oh, can I do that?
Yeah.
Can I be really present? Can I track the way you tracked? Yeah. So there is a part of me concerned and another part trusting. So
the two parts.
A smaller part.
Yeah. Concerned, wanting to trust that you'll be able to support and be present to another. The other part, trusting that, you can do it. Okay. Even just momentary, just check, a real quick check. You're noticing the quality of your experience when you're in the fear and concern and the subtle story you're telling yourself. And then look at the quality of felt experience when you're in trust.
Yeah. I can physically feel where it is.
Yes.
So the concern is going up here, and the trust is somewhere more down.
Okay. Okay, thank you. There's a couple of more hands. Wow, more than a couple. Okay. Okay. How about we go one over here, Maddie?
I'm in quite an inner dialogue at the moment, noticing lots of records. The one that's on top that I want to ask about is about the practice and the element of time, in that I see many people who've done this for many years, and the records are still there, and there's a voice that says, surely they should have this sorted by now. And then, and of course for me as well, and then something comes up as actually each record is just an opportunity to get into the heart. They're important too.
Exactly.
So there's nowhere to get to. I don't have to get rid of my collection.
Right.
They're beautiful opportunities to get into the heart, which makes me feel so much better.
I like that. Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
like that. Yeah. Because then, as you say what you just said, I hear that as you have now experienced a completely different relationship to your inner narrative. It is an opportunity to take you to your heart. If you can follow that link, that thread of energy, then that will completely transform your experience. Yeah.
Thank you.
Colette?
For me, what I experienced in all of that was a real familiarity with all that conversation that goes on. And I would have recognized before as, the hell I create for myself with that. And in the past, I would have, when I'd realize it, I'd just say, stop it. But I'm, what I'm hearing from, taking from this, is the more gentle approach of, this is a conversation I'm having with myself, and coming back to what is my longing.
Yes.
And it seems a much more gentle way to approach it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I take from
Great.
it.
Wonderful. Okay. Doris.
I found myself quite indignant. Yeah, how dare he? I found myself indignant with the dad in that situation, and something in me was stimulated, and that the temptation to collude.
Yeah.
That is, that is not an acceptable thing to do.
Yeah.
So my question, if I'm in your seat and I catch myself doing that, then I've got two lots of records playing. Any tips, please?
Yeah, here we go, the fun of life. We have our records that we're playing to each other and not really connecting with each other. So I'm hearing the recognition that what happened is this reaction in you that manifests as, I want to collude and agree and say, yes, how dare he? I'm indignant. Now I have my own story that's generated. And And what do you do then?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the question.
And I think more deeply than that is what happens if I have I'm with someone who has been physically abused, attacked, raped, you know, something that is really far more. It's far more difficult to say that is. There's somewhere in there is that it's. Are we saying that it's okay?
I'm glad you're naming that, because there are very important distinctions. We're not saying it's okay at all.
Yeah, I mean, I know you're not saying that,
but I think
there's a sort of unease there of...
I imagine the unease is because that's the argument that your mind is putting forth. Because it says, the mind says, no, it's not a story, this really happened. Of course it really happened.
Yeah.
We're not talking about what really happened. We want to look at more clearly, more open-heartedly with what really happened, and I can't do that as long as I'm involved with the story.
Can you just say a little bit more about that? I just have a sense there's something really important for people who have suffered greatly in physical abuse.
Well, there's two parts to it. First, it's about when I am receiving someone sharing with me about the intensity of experience that they have gone through, physical, emotional, sexual, whatever abuse. I'm not going to be able to do it unless I've done my own work, unless I am an empty container to receive it. I can't be present to them.
Right.
Because I'm in a colluding effect with them. I'm afraid, I'm going back, I'm reacting, I stimulate my own helplessness. As long as I'm involved with that, which is my own inner drama with respect to what's gone on, I am not present to them.
Yeah.
So if I want to cultivate the capacity to be present to someone else, I do my own inner healing.
Yeah. And then allied to that, how can I... There's something about the thinking that, oh, well, it's the story you're telling yourself that's causing your pain, which for the other person who's trying to deal with it and heal it, I
would never tell them that. I would never say, it's the story you're telling yourself that's causing your pain. This is an exercise not to impose on another. This is an exercise that's presented for you to connect with your own inner dynamic.
Yeah.
When one has been able to, when you individually, each of us has been able to cultivate this consciousness over and over again, the clear and lucid and releasing recognition that this is my narrative about what has happened, then I will never be liberated enough, present enough to be present to another. So for me, this is the primary thing. This is my recommendation of where to focus. Certainly there are implications for how am I, how can I be fully present to another who's experiencing and expressing some degree of very intense experiencing and pain.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. I think we have room for one more. If anyone would like to share or ask a question. Byron?
So I really connected with the idea of the record, and I got a sort of glimmer of an insight there, that wonderful analogy of playing your record, and I realized that if you're hearing the record, the music in the record, it's almost impossible to hear the music that might be coming from the other person deep down within their heart.
Yeah.
Because all you're listening to is your record.
Exactly. Yeah. And therefore, how can I possibly hear the other person? How can we actually communicate? Because that record is so blaring, and I'm reacting to that, not reacting to what happened. Yeah. So, I mean, when I reflect on my own experience of actually recognizing whatever this, call it story, thought, record, there's a an unspeakable experience. I wish I could articulate it more clearly of what that experience is like. It's a complete release. It's waking up. You know, I have a dream, I'm disturbed in this dream, it's awful, or even I have some pretty wonderful dreams too. I won't talk about some of those parts of them, but then I wake up and it's like, oh, it's waking up from the dream. It's sobering. Oh, that was only a dream. There's a release there, there's a recognition. And that's the best I can say about what it's like. And this is an incredibly beautiful and essential practice and realization and way to cultivate this consciousness.